I knew you were going to ask. I knew it.
You're listening to Sappenin Podcast.
Sappenin! You are listening to episode 331 of Sappenin Podcast, featuring myself, Sean Smith, and my good friend, Morgan Richards.
Yes, it's me, Morgan Richards, and this week features a man who takes on moonwalking boogeymen, villains like clockwork in Times New Roman.
That doesn't make sense to anybody at all who's ever lived, but this week's guest is Micheal Shuman of Queens of the Stone Age, GLU, and Mini Mansions. What a lovely, fantastic bloke. Possibly the most awkward start to a podcast we've done so far that we've put out.
But we win him over. We win him over instantly.
We do win him over.
It's Mikey Shuman, bass player extraordinaire, bona fide rock star, and the coolest motherfucker you will ever see in a pair of designer sunglasses. Micheal Shuman has been strutting his way across the biggest festival stages, arenas, and stadiums across the world for the past 18 years as part of Queens of the Stone Age. One of the band's long-term member, he's basically transitioned into Josh Homme's right-hand man, sharing songwriting ideas and blossoming into a kick-ass partnership within the lineup we all love to go and see live today. Away from that, he's a human who's addicted to creating.
He's what? He's a human. Yeah, carry on.
His other band, Mini Mansions, created a lasting stamp on alternative scenes, created some of scores for huge video games, and started producing artists recently as well, alongside his new solo project, GLU, that is completely hip-hop inspired. This new single, Boogeyman, came out this week, so we thought we absolutely had to take the opportunity to speak to Mikey, get to meet him, and just get an insight into everything rock and roll, hip-hop, goth, video games, and those sunglasses.
I know what you're thinking. What is it going to sound like when two Welsh fucking numpties get to speak to a member of possibly one of the coolest bands that exists, and maybe to ever exist? The answer is exactly how you think it's going to be for 2 minutes. And then we win him over. And then we had a fucking wonderful, wonderful chat with old Mickey Flip-Flops. Thank you very much. You're a fucking super cool dude. I don't know if he's listening to this, but if he is, thank you very much to him and his team for sorting this out. Cheers, Lydia. Crazy start to an episode, but one that I think we've won him over, and by the end of it, I don't want to say we're best friends, but I've definitely gone and got his face tattooed on my back. And
there is a mutual partnership between the two of you for a hatred of someone else that's also on this podcast that
yes, true.
Didn't want to start crying halfway through it, but he was close.
Listen out for that.
He was close. Yeah, listen out for some random tear noises, maybe halfway through. I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna get into all different aspects of his career and just the magnitude of how big Queens of the Stone Age has become, headlining all our favorite festivals, including Download, Reading, and Leeds, just Rock am Ring all across Europe, and getting insight into doing different projects, and even a mention of getting to work on Grand Theft Auto and fucking Red Dead Redemption, which is like insane in itself. If you're listening to this and you like going to popular rock concerts, maybe you like a big festival appearance, maybe you love going to see really heavy bands inside a venue that also has, I don't know, video games to play at the same time. Is there any way you could recommend people to go to, Sean?
I don't think anyone's got a fucking festival like that. And do you know what? If they did, it would fucking blow my mind. So, no, to answer your question, I don't think I do know anywhere more. Do you?
Well, funny enough, I do. Radar Festival is hitting Manchester's Victoria Warehouse on July 4th,
Great venue.
5th and 6th this summer. It's got a collection of music and gaming markets with instruments and full game setups we'll be able to play, with merch, vinyl, and masterclasses of industry experts having conversations and letting you learn more from behind the scenes. But a killer lineup of bands who will melt your face off with riffs, sing-alongs, and friendly moshing. You've got headliners who are Under Oath, Carpenter Brute, and Bob Villain. They'll be joined by Cyan Kicks as everything unfolds, Vacovi, Yonica, Lig Malice, Future Palace, Floyer, Normandy, Dream State, so many other bands you can get into a mosh pit for. Full production, all inside. You don't have to worry about the weather, and you can even plan your journey now. If you're thinking like, oh, there's too many bands, they're all going to clash, you can download the Radar app, go to radarfestival.co.uk. You can make your plans now and you can have a lovely, lovely time.
Yes. I implore anybody from the North or the Midlands or the South or Scotland or Ireland or Wales or Brazil or the United States of America, Canada, Greenland, Denmark, Norway, Finland, Ipswich, Brazil again. I implore you to go. It looks like it's going to be a fucking good day. What a great lineup. And yeah, all the extra gaming stuff as well. Brilliant. Yeah, have a look. Check it out. Good market.
You know Ipswich isn't its own country, right?
That's not what I heard. I heard that Donald Trump is trying to take Ipswich. So won't be long till we hand that over.
Oh.
Like he handed Ukraine over. Anyway. Let's get on with this fucking episode.
Send your conspiracy theories at Sappenin Pod on Instagram. Take a screenshot of this episode if you're listening to it and put up in your stories. If you'd like to support these rambles, please go and check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Sappenin, for a whole community of the most beautiful people you will ever meet. But without any further ado, let's go super cool rock and roll style. Put your sunglasses on. This is the wonderful Mickey Shoes of Queens of the Stone Age and GLU on episode 331 of Sappenin Podcast.
Rap singing bassist. Fucking right on. Sappenin!
Sappenin!
What a cool fucking dude, though. I thought he was going to fucking hate us.
Sappenin.
Sap.
Oh, that's our first 1/4 of the word we've had. Yeah, that's joining us at the moment is the brilliant songwriter, musician, multi-instrumentalist, Micheal Shuman of the fantastic GLU and, of course, Queens of the Stone Age. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Good. You look fantastic.
Yeah.
I know you've made no effort. You probably made no effort. I don't know, but you look fan-fucking-tastic. So
this is how I wake up.
Oh,
just ready to go, proper rock and roll star energy.
So this is what it would look like if on the end of a date morning, me and you.
Oh, nice.
Sunglasses still on. That's the main important thing.
Well, you've got
you never look at me in the eyes.
Well, here's my first question I want to get out of the way. There's a rumor you don't have eyes. Is this true?
Yes.
That makes perfect sense. Let me take that off.
There's someone else's. Yeah.
Oh.
They're a different pair every week. Oh.
Yeah. I keep them all in the basement and just take the eyes for the day. You know?
Well, this is the craziest start to a podcast so far, so thank you very much for that. But Sap.
Well, I'm a sup guy, so Sap.
Oh. I mean,
take it off.
I'm surprised no one's thought of that beforehand. I'm surprised no one's giving us the abbreviation of the abbreviation, but we'll take it.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's getting too abbreviated now. Yeah, it's getting too abbreviated.
Yeah, too abbreviated. Yeah. Never be too abbreviated.
Oh, too abbreviated, some would say.
Oh, fuck.
Anyway, Micheal, how are you? How is life with you? What are you up to at the moment, apart from talking to pricks on podcasts?
Yeah. I'm in Austin, Texas right now. I'm from Los Angeles, so I'm here producing a record for another band.
Ooh. Could you name the band, or was that not allowed? Or
I mean, maybe not yet, but like
okay,
British actually.
Ooh. And as we know, there's only 4 British bands, so let's guess them. It's the Beatles. No, it's all good.
Oh, wow. I'm sure that's quite a nice experience as well, to get away from LA and then like to go and do music with a band from a different perspective.
It is really nice. I like kind of doing all the things, hence doing all the things in my life. But yeah, spreading it around so that you never get too bored. Do your band, do a solo thing, maybe score something, produce another band's record. It allows you to not, get stale and stagnant in the arts,
Yeah, well, that sounds like you've got a lot on. How do you separate them? Do you have chunks of time that right, well, I'm off here, I'll fit in stuff here, and etc.?
Yeah, it's called Google Cal. I can send you the Wikipedia and all the information on it. Actually, to be fair, that's a total lie. I'm an iCal man. Yeah.
Oh, I knew about that. Yeah, I knew about that. You should have just said straight away. Oh, whoa! So you should have stopped me mid-send. iCal, and I would have gone. Oh, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Morg, go on.
Like it makes a difference. I think while we're doing the pleasantries and introduction, technically, I think we should wish you a happy birthday, because it is being the running joke for the last 15 years that every time you get introduced on stage, Josh Homme loves to say happy birthday at every gig. How did this joke become a thing?
I mean, you better ask him, but I guess reap the benefits and also the embarrassment of having to deal with it every night. I think it was like, I don't know, to just give me more attention. I don't know. I don't know the reason really, but he sure does it. He sure does it a lot.
So how many times has he been right doing that on stage? How many times have you literally
honestly, it's been my many times it's been my actual birthday and zero. Nothing. Forgets my birthday.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe that?
Awful.
It's not so funny anymore.
No, it's not. It's sad now, actually. It's derailed the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, anyway, well, thanks for that.
See you later.
Yeah, see you again. Good luck with everything, I think. I think. Good luck with everything, I think. I don't know.
I was going to ask, like, how much confusion does it cause with other people? Like, if there's people backstage or, like, in the crowd, like, who know you, like, I didn't know it was your birthday, and you have to be like, it's not.
Yeah, over and over and over again. And then that whole game is not really fun either. And I think, let's say the majority of the fans that are there, or the true fans, know that they're in on the joke and they all sing happy birthday, however many thousands of people or whatever are singing happy birthday. Yeah. And then there's the other people that are like, I didn't know. But I think it's just like you did the joke, you're playing in on it. I think most people do that now. But I guess it could be an interesting conversation starter, right?
Mm.
And I am single currently, so I guess that's a good icebreaker.
Very much so.
If I'm trying to find somebody, could be you.
Yes, that's what I was waiting for. Thank God for that. Tick that box as well. Tick that. I've got to be. Am I in with a chance? I'm going to tick that. Tick. There you go. Just tick that. Thanks. But yeah. What? How long have you been in Austin? How's Austin treating you? How do you feel? How do you compare LA to Austin? Because I know a lot of people seem to be moving from one to the other. They
sure do. Yeah. Austin's kind of like the new Joshua Tree, where it's a little, you got to get on a plane probably, but a lot of LA people, as the housing market is crazy in LA, people would start to go to the desert, Joshua Tree, to be close enough to the city. So you can still keep somewhat of your Los Angeles life, but live out there. But now, yeah, a lot of people are going to Austin. And it's not actually that much cheaper, I gotta say. I love looking at like housing and all over the world and architecture and stuff like that. I'm interested in that. So like every day I'm kind of looking at stuff, and it's actually not that much cheaper anymore. But there's no state income tax in Texas. So there's one thing about that, but it's very different. I really love it here. I've thought about moving here. And so I'm looking at places here just in case it all goes, awry. When the fires happened in LA recently, it's like you start to be like, okay, what else has tons of land? And I might be able to get away if it all goes to shit. So I really love it here.
And you will get to actually keep some of your money as well, which would be nice.
Yes, a big chunk. A big old chunk, yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
because I've mainly seen most of the comedy world is moving from LA to Austin, but I think that's just following Joe Rogan and the comedy mothership.
Totally. And I really want to go, actually. I want to go to that club. And I was just talking about, like, I love comedy and just finding some clubs out here, including the mothership, just to go have a night out and enjoy that. It'd be nice.
Yeah, I'd like to venture there at some point, because it seems to be the comedy mothership is probably going to be the new comedy mecca, I guess, instead of the comedy store.
Yeah. I was just doing a podcast with my friend he's a comedian and talking about the comedy store and that I'm from LA, but I'd never gone to the comedy store until this year was my first time.
Oh, wow.
Which is wild. And it's so great to be able to, like, kind of any night of the week go down there. And even if you see no one on the bill that someone amazing or legend will pop up that night, which is so cool. I don't know if it happens everywhere, but in LA, it sure happens a lot.
Yeah. Who did you see at the Comedy Mother store? At the Comedy Mother, I fucking merged them.
Whoa, dude.
Holy shit. I've just come up with a collab. Joe.
Yeah.
Give me some of that Spotify money. Yeah. Who did you see at the Comedy store?
Well, the first show I saw at the Comedy store was Bill Burr.
Oh, what?
Only today's George Carlin. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's a friend. So he invited me down. So that was nice. And then me and Josh actually went, we were recording some stuff and went and saw some random people. And then the third time I went, we just went and saw Louis C.K.
Nice.
And do a full hour, which was incredible.
Yeah, I think he's touring that over here. I think it's next year now. The date's got recently just gone up for. So I've been, considering going to that. So, fucking,
When you see a legend like that, or those legends, it's a whole different thing. It's like, it's how masterful they are.
Yeah, I saw Dave Chappelle in Hammersmith Apollo, and that was, it's like a fucking it's like a hilarious TED Talk. Like, he just doesn't stop. There's no fucking, I'm in an R in, there's no, oh, well, this bit looks this. It's just talking, and he's fucking brilliant at it.
Amazing.
Yeah, one of the best. Well, I didn't expect us to talk about comedy today, and I fucking love that, because it's one of my favorite things. So,
well, cut it out.
Yeah, cut this shit out. Yeah, we don't want to be seen to be we don't want to be heard to be smiling or having a good time at all. So, sorry, man. Back to the misery. Who's your favorite goth?
That's a great question, actually.
If you have one.
You know what? Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm gonna go Daniel Ash.
Nice.
Or, you know what? Even to be fair, my favorite goth is Troy Van Leeuwen, because I actually love him.
Yeah, that's true.
And he is a little goth for life.
Yeah, I was gonna go with Alice Cooper for mine, then, just off the top, or Robert Smith. Maybe a Robert Smith.
Maybe.
We share a surname, and that's it. Except we both got shit there. Anyway, moving on, Morg. Quick.
What is going on? I'm just enjoying. I'm just taking a second to enjoy.
You shush, Morgan.
Yeah, me and Mike are going to talk about important things.
Enough with a professional journalist.
Yeah, fucking loser. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, you've never asked anything as insightful as who's your favourite god?
That's a great question. I've never heard that question before, and I really like that.
Do you know what? I think we're going to have to add it to...
At the end of...
Yeah, because I've started doing this other one at the end, which I guess I'll just do now.
Just do it now. Go for it.
Yeah. How do you feel about aliens, UFOs? Are you for them, against them? Do you know they exist? Do you not believe?
Okay. It's like talking about politics or something.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is with me. Yeah, it's one side.
It kind of is, honestly. Of course, yes. There has to be. Of course, like what that means, I'm unsure. But of course, if you don't believe that there's any kind of life anywhere else in this universe, that's insane. And so narrow-minded. Sorry to all of you narrow-minded people, but yeah, billions of galaxies. How is there not life elsewhere? Now, as far as the sightings, and I don't think I know enough, or I don't do any deep dives to know what's going on currently on Earth, and who's inhabiting or coming to check on us for staycation. But yeah, it's the more that obviously the social media and people everyone having a camera or phone and start posting shit, you start to now really wonder. But then there's also AI that we've created. So who knows what's fake and what's real. But I guess the short story is, yes, there's other life.
Okay. So you've never seen anything that's made you go, what the fuck was that then?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
That's like ghosts, it's like, I've never seen anything. I've maybe felt some weird energy, but I have no proof, and I don't have any, stories or sightings.
Well, thank you very much. Good answer.
Yeah. Especially because, you've been someone who's been on the road for decades now, especially part of Queens of the Stone Age. Just, being a long-term bass player, it's like almost 2 decades really in that band. How would you describe like the relationship within Queens from once you first got the job to now? Because it seems like it's a whole completely different just relationship and element in between everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess as it is with any relationship, right? First joining, I'm very young, and I joined when I was 21, and so you're joining something that's established. So I had nothing to do with the songwriting, nothing to do with the business. So you're just there to serve the band, the songs, the shows. I'm acting as a basically a live musician. I mean, but the great thing, I guess, that opens the relationship up and changes things is that Josh, as our leader, runs the band unlike any other, where we're not session musicians or hired guns, as is with a lot of bands that don't have original members. So that's one thing that is amazing about our band, and I think creates a different dynamic in that, right? So quickly after, we realized that all of us are there for, indefinitely, you become part of the business, you become part of the band. You're not just, which is amazing. It's like being, whatever, let's say you work for a big corporation and, you're working as a secretary, and then, after a few years, you're now a partner. You made partner or whatever. It's something like that, right? Whatever. I don't want to give the businesses, actually, I'm starting to say too much. But I think it really does. I do think that affects the dynamic because you feel like you have ownership, you feel like you have say in what happens. And now being in the band 18 years, and writing on, over the last 15 years in the band, I have the confidence to say whatever I want. And it's very democratic. Now, one metaphor that we use is it's like a pirate ship, and everyone has a role. And, for that ship to, and everyone to survive, everyone needs to do that role really well. Not everyone can be the captain. Someone needs to be the cook so everyone can eat. Someone needs to set the sail. So everyone has a role, and that's how kind of we operate, but everyone's vital to that operation. Josh and I's relationship as well has grown deeper and deeper and deeper, especially after making the last record, where we got extremely deep, dealing with personal stuff while making a record that was very heavy. So we're just closer than we've ever been. Does that answer your question? No.
Yeah, you stupid fucking bloody journalist who wanted a serious question. I'm gonna have to follow that up with a serious question now, though. Shit. What was it like being 21, joining Queens of the it's such an established band already, and it's fucking hurtling down the road, and then you join at 21. How did that come about, and what was that like for you at the time?
I'll give you the short story, I guess, because it go on and on. But they were basically my favorite rock band. And I was just in a punk band in LA. And we were the young kids in the scene. And I guess the older guys thought we were cool, and so kind of wanted to help us find our way and give us opportunities. And so those guys, when the time came where Queens were looking for a new permanent bass player, they just recommended me. They were like, this kid's, good. And that process was pretty quick. It wasn't like I didn't audition with a bunch of guys or anything. It was just hang out. Because a lot of thing about being in a band is just the hang and being a good person. And you know what I mean? Cause you gotta live with each other. So that's what a lot of it is about. It's not all about how many people are better than me technically. Most, right? I'm not the most proficient. But it's about the hang and being cool and, navigating that whole world. And taste, I think, the similar tastes. So anyway, joining, that was the process, and it was a trip, it changed my life. But what's interesting too about us is that at the time I was like, oh, biggest band in the world for me, as a kid, but our band has only gone like that really, really slowly and just not stopped, which is, I think, a really, really rare thing for a band that's been around for 25 years. That doesn't happen. It's usually you have a big bang and then kind of either stay steady or dip. And I think maybe because we haven't really had a hit that's number one pop hit that's changed the world. I don't know. I don't know why actually, but it's just been this slow climb. And I think, and we're so lucky and grateful that it's still going well for us. You know what I mean? It's a tough business. It's the fucking worst business. I don't know why we do it. You only do it because you really, really love it.
Yeah.
And you're willing to eat shit and not make anything. And then, you're lucky when, you can survive on it.
It must be really cool as well to kind of see the heritage and the legacy of the band grow in real time, because you're still all experiencing things every year. It seems like that is a first. And now being at the stage where, you're headlining all the major festivals across overseas, and you had like Download Festival here in the UK last year.
Yeah.
And be able to like see those moments and take them in and compare it to where like the band has played before and all on these lineups and stuff like that. Like just like for example, Download last year must have been one of those moments where you all went, "This is really cool."
That's a great example. Yeah. We don't take it for granted. That was a big deal. And I remember playing Download when it was, I don't know where we were, third from the top or whatever it was, but I remember it being daylight, and then the next time we play it, we're headlining, and it's so cool. And it's so cool that, cause we always wonder like, well, we're not, I don't know. I don't even know what the comparison is, but a band that 70,000 people want to go see and believe that you're a headlining act, Yeah. Sometimes you're like, are we? Can we? And then once you do, you go like, oh yeah, that's right. And it feels really great. And I think will continue to be these little wins that really feel good and humble you and keep it exciting. And we definitely don't take it for granted. That's what keeps it fun.
Well, that's awesome to hear.
Are there any of those like little win landmarks that maybe like you and the rest of the guys haven't done yet that is still like within the camp, something you talk about to be like, oh, we want to reach that one day? Or is it just kind of like take it all in its stride when and if it comes?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's no like, we don't talk about, but if we only were playing stadiums, or if only, we didn't lose every year at the Grammys, like we don't fucking care. If you get caught up with that kind of shit, you're headed in the wrong direction. You know what I mean? And you'll get lost real quick. So all you do is you put your head down and you make, I hate saying art, but you make the best art possible, in the record, in the content that you put out or whatever, and you believe in it, and that's all you can do. And then you let, I guess, the fans decide and your label and whatever creativity they have to promote you, work its magic. And, when we make records, it's like, we're not playing it for our label. We're fortunate enough to be on an independent label, actually, which is awesome too, with Matador. So they trust us completely. Our management trusts us completely. So it's like, we go to our record and we go, here you go, put it out, figure it out. And it's great. It's a great business relationship to be in, to allow your artists to have complete creative freedom and to trust in us. So yeah, we don't. Again, did that answer your fucking question? I got lost.
No, I know. I'm Joe. I'm surprised Sean's not like cheering every time you say that, because you're just giving me the stick back. He normally has to do it himself.
Yeah, that's fucking great. You could, in fact, if I ever go away and I miss an episode, I think you should fill in for me, because you seem to have the same disdain for Morgan's questions that I do. So that's fantastic.
What's the starting pay?
Pay?
I'm sure it's a lot, right?
We get trickle down economics from Joe Rogan. We're just waiting for some money to drop down to us any second now. Any second now is coming, I believe. Ronald Reagan told me that it would trickle down to me by now.
Well, it looks like you're sponsored by Download Festival, so I mean, you must be pretty decent money.
No, I'm just so poor. I accept freebie clothes and I wear them on my day off. Yeah, that's what it is.
Sure.
Yeah. We shouldn't remind me, to be honest. But do you remember the first song of Queens of the Stone Age that you were involved with the writing, recording, or shaping of? Or
yes.
Thank you very much. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, we did. Okay, to be fair, so the Era Vulgaris record was done me and Dean joined, to tour, and we went to the desert to do some like B-sides, like for like, a 7-inch and maybe like the extra on like the Japanese release. And so we did some covers, which were like, we did White Wedding. We did an Elliott Smith song. Bobby Gillespie came down and we did.
Wow.
What did we do? What did we do? It was an Iggy song, I think, or something. Anyway, so we did that as far as like recording, but then writing, it was Clockwork, Back to the Desert. And I think the song ended up being Straight Jacket Fitting, which just came out on our last record, but it took us 3 records to get it right and figure it out.
Wow.
Whoa.
So I think that was the first one.
How many versions of that song do you think exist on hard drives?
Right. Yeah. I think just the one, like we like tried it out during Clockwork, like that session, and it just didn't like totally, like the puzzle pieces weren't like just totally there. And I think on Villains, we like talked about it and maybe fucked around, but we didn't like record a version or anything. So really just the 2, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. But still, it's crazy to think like a song like that can be sat on for such a long time and you come back to it.
Yeah, but that happens more than you think, right? There, some songs come immediately, and even like the lyrics and the melody, whatever, it all just comes same day, right? And that's a magical thing, and it's rare, as most songwriters know. But then there's something of like, something's good, or you have this idea, but it's like the wrong time, even like lyrically, maybe those lyrics just don't make sense in that time in your life or in the world. And then they end up meaning a lot more later on. Something happens to you or whatever. Or you just like, maybe you just like, you weren't ready to create that type of song or that genre of song and release it to the world. Maybe you weren't confident enough or felt right about it. There's just stuff like that. Like they exist. They just, the public that, the people don't know about it. You're writing them, as you know, I have hundreds and whatever songs that are half done or are done, but I'm just not ready yet. So they exist. It's just about what you decide to put out to the world.
So on that mindset, how different is it for you doing a solo project like GLU, where it's completely kind of separated and removed from what people might expect a solo record from yours to sound like? Is this kind of like you approach it completely like a different side to, like a blank canvas, or is there bits where it's like, oh, these things haven't worked in the past, but maybe it would work if I tried it this way under a different name?
Yeah. The bulk of how I started to write stuff for GLU was all fresh. But as I started, it was by myself. I do it all by myself. So part of it is for me and just a new project is figuring out the delivery, because I think delivery is extremely important, and doing something where I'm, vocally rapping or flowing or whatever you want to call it. There's a fine line of like what's cool and what feels natural. And so figuring that out is extremely important. And once I kind of figured that part out, then you start to be like, oh, I want this to be really musical, and always want it to be musicals. And then you start being like, well, you know what? That thing, that piano thing I had, that I maybe was going to use for Queens, or maybe it was for Mini Mansions, it actually fits in this world. It just needs, I'm just going to put a beat over it, or I'm going to, or this is a chorus for GLU. It just, and that's the musical part of it. You know what I mean? Like, so not everything's right, but there's definitely overlap. And so as the project has been more realized, I've also been more open to taking stuff that didn't work from before and putting it in here. Because also I don't want, the whole point of this is zero rules. Like you can do whatever the fuck you want. Being in Queens where there's 5 guys and 5 opinions, being in mini mansions, same thing, 3 guys, 3 opinions. There's always some sort of like threshold, even though you say like, well, there's no limits and whatever. There are a little bit. Whereas this, it's all, I can do whatever I want. And I want as I progress in the writing process, I want, maybe there can be an acoustic song. It doesn't have to have a beat. It can be whatever I want it to be. And I look forward to that. Yeah.
Do you ever get frustrated for writing stuff on your own?
Yeah, of course. As with anything. Yeah. And sometimes without outside opinion or someone to bounce ideas off of. Yeah. That's why bands are good.
Yeah.
And co-writing with other people is good, but I haven't done it yet with this. But yeah, it's extremely frustrating. And I have months where I don't do anything, where I'm just like, now is not the time. It's not flowing for me. And this project also takes a lot of wordsmithing, and that's like used to be and kind of is my least favorite process. It's hard. So yeah.
Well, what was the catalyst to originally think like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm actually gonna put it out, because you're someone who is constantly busy within the industry, as you mentioned earlier. If it's kind of scoring, if it's doing different things, different bands, like what made you sit down and go, okay, maybe I'll do something completely on my own where there is no rules and it can be my own kind of mixtape as and when?
Mini Mansions, my other band, was kind of done. Like we realized it, or at least infinite hiatus. And it was during COVID. So with Queens, we weren't doing anything at that time. So I need to be creative. I was locked in my house. I mean, common story, but I was like, okay, I'm going to go create every day at my studio. And I always wanted to do some kind of hip hop thing. And being by myself, it wasn't going to be like I had a drummer in the room and we could jam or whatever. So it's more like started at the computer or started a piano, and create a different way, which I think was really challenging for me to create from a computer. Instead of picking up a guitar and being like, okay, this chord or this riff or whatever, it's like, okay, how do I start with a beat? How do I start creating this way instead? And I really like that challenge, because also you start to do things that you never would have done. You never even would have thought of, like, creatively. And so just starting, I always think like even picking up a guitar that someone else's, or, in a different city, or just, it's this acoustic, you play something completely different every time. It's so weird. And so it's the same idea, which is on a different medium. So that's kind of what inspired me to do it. And just to do something that people wouldn't expect, that I wouldn't expect for myself. And maybe piss people off a little bit too. Like, I want the same thing that you've always done. God damn it. I like that.
Yeah. People never happy. If you stay the same, it's too boring. If you try anything different, it's too new. What do you want?
Yeah.
Bloody general public. Just have what you're given. Enjoy it. Shit. But
how different is it when you do GLU live for you? Like, just as an experience, because you've just done a run of shows. As that, like, I'm sure that must just be a completely different headspace.
completely different. I've never done it like this. So the whole point also wasn't about it being just me creatively. It was, but I mean, it is, but it was about me being able to do this whenever I want. So when I want to go play shows, I want to go on the road, I don't have to talk about 3 other people's schedules. I can just go do it. So I was like, how can I do this by myself? But I wanted to play, there's a lot of guitar stuff and I want to make sure I play guitar. So my rig, I figured out a rig. I thought about it a lot. I mapped it out and I have it down. So I can basically bring a pedal board I don't even use a real amp on stage. I use one of those like UAD amps, which are incredible. It sounds amazing. I have a vocal station so I can control all my vocal effects. So everything's on this pedal board. And so just me and a guitar and my pedal board and some tracks that I play to. Just like, before I might be like, I would never use tracks. And in a band, yes, correct. Queens, we don't use tracks. Mini Mansions, we don't use tracks. But with this, it's like, it's a hip hop thing. So that's what you expect. Actually, I hate seeing hip hop with a full band live.
Ooh.
I do, because it's not what the record is. And it becomes like a gospel style drummer, like overplaying, and like, it doesn't sound right. There's something about it should be just like a DJ playing that beat that was created in the studio. That's how I like my hip hop. So this doesn't feel like I'm cheating or anything like that. And I get to tour by myself. So this last run, I was supporting my friend's Fanagram, and I just rented a car by myself, like basically a stand-up. Like I'm a stand-up comedian on a tour. It's me in a car, and I got all my shit in the back, and that's easy. And that's it. And I don't lose a ton of money being on the road.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I would.
Well, here's the real question then. Before GLU, when was the last time you had to do your own loading?
Ooh.
That was weird. Not the last Mini Mansions tour.
Okay.
So 2019. I don't care. I don't care about that. I'm happy to do that. Like, I mean, I couldn't load what our whole crew loads for Queens. But grabbing an amp and a fucking pedal board. I mean, I can do that. I know how to plug in a guitar and tune it. Yeah.
Good. Well, you mentioned about different scores and soundtracks you've been involved with as well. I think notably, Grand Theft Auto is on that list. What is that world like within itself? Because I'm sure that's another whole different kettle of fish, where it's not like very much like a band or anything like that. You're creating something for a specific thing. Like, can you just give us like an insight into that world a little bit?
Yeah, it's kind of like producing, like what I'm doing right now. It's just not. It doesn't have to reflect you, and you can kind of step outside of yourself, which also I think is less pressure in a way. Now, the scoring world has a lot of pressure because there's deadlines and there's producers and directors and tons of opinions, and you're serving something, and there's a lot of money involved as far as like the rest of there's no money in what I'm doing, but there's money in the whole production of a film or a TV show, or a video game. Fuck, how much money is in that? So there's a lot of pressure in that regard, but yeah, you can kind of do whatever you want, and no one's going to judge you for the words that you said, because it's through a different lens. I think it's fun, but also it's hard to get into that world and tap into that world and get a lot of jobs, because there's kind of the guys that do it really well and have been doing it for a long time, and people don't tend to venture elsewhere, except like the Johnny Greenwoods or the Trent Reznor, Atticuses of the world, but the reason that they work, and if you notice, obviously it's like Johnny Greenwood does all the PTA movies, right? Or like Trent does all the fucking Social Network with the director.
I don't know.
David Fincher.
Oh, I was going way off.
Yeah, Fincher. So basically, you create a relationship with a director. You have a mutual understanding. Again, mutual taste is extremely important, because then the glossary and the vocabulary of how you're talking about the music is locked. And so once you have that relationship, that's the easy part. So it's really hard. You got to kind of find your own director, which the only stuff I've really done is for one of my best friends who's the director. And so we have that relationship. So I don't know if I want to just like start working I don't want to kind of do the work for hire thing. That's tough. I don't know if I'd want to all the time.
What exactly did you do on Grand Theft Auto 5? Because that's going to go down in law.
It's like a big credit and it's everywhere. But honestly, all I did was, I don't play video games. But all I did was this guy who was doing the score said, "We, come and play bass for like 10 hours, and then I'll chop it up and do whatever." So that's basically what I did. And then I did another session for Red Dead Redemption, which was me, my drummer John Theodore, and Mike Watt. You know who Mike Watt is?
Yeah.
So, which was incredible because I'm a big Mike Watt fan. So he was like, "Let me put these like 3 guys together and see what happens." So it was us 3 in a room, 2 bass players, me and Mike, and John playing drums. And we just like jammed for a long time. And then he did whatever he wanted for the video game. That's all there was, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have an interest in video games, because there's fucking billions of pounds. There's billions.
Mental, man.
It's crazy. The fucking wait for GTA 6 now is nuts. People are going crazy over it. But
right. I just heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. You said there about like, it's a credit that there seems to be pop-up anywhere. Is there loads of like little things like that throughout your career where like people have taken like the randomest fact that maybe you wouldn't necessarily be the first to tell people about, that kind of sticks and like lives on the internet as like a big thing that occurs? Yeah.
Of course. I mean, I'm sure you've seen that I was in The Wedding Singer, right?
I did see that. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, we did.
Be honest.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So shit like that, or the best thing that happens for my band Mini Mansions, like we started, and the first show you're like figuring it out. You have no idea, like you have no idea what your sound is or whatever. But one journalist, one reviewer says, and this for Mini Mansions is what it was, and no offense to this band, but they said, "Sounds like Fountains of Wayne."
Cool.
So I was like, okay, like we don't sound anything like that, but cool. But the one guy said it, and forever, you lazy ass fucking journalist.
Scum, subhuman, get them all killed, round them all up, murder them.
And you copy and paste.
Yeah.
Because you're lazy as fuck. And forever, that's what everyone says. And so that's the thing that's the little random bits that will stay forever. And I'm always like shocked that like, make your own, like, even if it's like a brand new record with a totally different sound and the whole thing still sound like Fountains of Wayne. It's like, come on, man. I did my job. And you do your fucking, I'm gonna settle down.
Tom, breathe.
You've riled him up, Morg. You've riled him up. Yeah.
Hey, if you've got anything to get off your chest, if there's anything like really grinds your gears, you want to get it out there, feel free.
We can start a new section on the show. You can phone in every week.
Should I lay down though?
Yeah. Michael, have you tried looking at it this way instead? Maybe they're just doing their jobs as journalists. They don't understand. They're simple creatures.
That's right.
Bastard.
I
know what you mean. Yeah, no, I said it. Fuck them all. I love the idea. I can get in fights with online fights with journalists, and by technically being a journalist, it doesn't see himself as a journalist. Good time. Fucking good time.
Weird fucking Inception thing going on right now. I don't know what the fuck. Yeah. Anyway.
Quick save him, Morg.
With everything as well, one thing we normally like to mention on this podcast is ask our guests the weirdest place they've ever played a gig. And we mean this in terms of turning up to a venue and then figuring out that maybe like, oh, tonight I'm actually playing in a kebab shop or a zoo or the back of a pickup truck. You've been in many different projects, you've been in many different bands. Is there anything that comes to your mind that you're like, oh yeah, this one time we had to play this place?
Number one, I think I've done all those things that you just said. 'Cause I'm serious. Zoo, truck. But I think the weirdest one was, it was in my kind of first band that toured was a band called Wires on Fire. And we went to play in Visalia, California. We played this, what's the place called? I forget the name of the place, but it was like the punk place that bands, it was a small town, but bands would play there. And we had a day off the next day. We met some guys and like, do you want to play at our party tomorrow? And you could stay at our place. And we're like, yeah, sure. And they said, oh, it's a death metal lingerie party.
Oh, of course. Were you not sick of playing in death metal lingerie parties by then?
It sounds great. It sounds great. And we were like, yes, that sounds wonderful. We'll see you tomorrow. So we showed up and we go to the guy's house. It's literally, there was like 12 people there. No, there was no women in lingerie. I mean, there was maybe a female or two there. And it was us playing in someone's bedroom.
Oh.
And
definitely our drummer was naked. It got naked. And
did he think the lingerie was going to be supplied when he got there? Was that what, is that what it was? He's like, I'm ready. Look, just give me the gear.
Dress me. Or undress. Yeah. It was fucking bizarre. And it was like in this bedroom, us playing this like punk rock set and like 4 people like watching us. But it was all guys that like, I guess maybe one was in lingerie, It was fucking weird, man.
You get sold death metal lingerie. Yes, it's going to be girls in stockings. We're having a right laugh tonight, boys. And you turn up and it's just loads of fat fellas in tights. No!
I didn't want to say it, but that's exactly what it was. In someone's bedroom, full band.
That's good. That's a very good one.
How big was the bedroom?
Small.
Did you take, what were the that's a fucking journalistic. Excuse me, what? What exactly?
What the dimensions?
I'm trying to paint a picture for people. Like, dreaming.
I'm gonna need the foot cubage.
the four, not so healthy people in the room were about 2 feet, 1 foot away from us, getting the show of their lives.
Could have done with social distancing back then. That must have been horrible.
Masked up, baby.
Wow.
There you go.
On that note.
That's it. That's the weirdest one, for sure.
Yeah, yes. It definitely sounds it. We've never had that.
Yeah, you win. Yeah,
we've never
death metal lingerie.
That's a good name for a band, actually, or an album.
I mean, it's not. I was going to say that might be like a good GLU EP title. I don't know.
Fuck, God. Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay.
Yes, 2%. That's all I need. Anyway,
it sounds like Fountains of Wayne as well. Apparently.
Yes.
Hang up. Right, I'm leaving. Yeah, I'm leaving right now. Anyway, nice one. Thank you. Sorry about him.
No,
unusable.
As we wind this down before I actually get punched through the screen. You mentioned always being busy, and obviously the GLU now you've got new songs in the work coming out and everything. What is the plan kind of going forward with it? Like, obviously Queens of Stone Age, you've got loads of tour dates announced, and I'm sure there's kind of finding out what you can do in between it. But yeah, is it like a whole campaign of things you'd like to do, like more touring? Like, what's the schedule of new music and everything?
Yeah, full on, man. I mean, I'm the only one in my band that doesn't have kids or is married. So
I nearly clapped then. I was going to clap because congratulations on not falling for that.
Honestly, I love my life. I'm really happy. I have a great time. You know, if it happens, it happens. But I love it. I love the way I like to work. Sleep, and have my own space. Yeah. And
sleep, money, not covered in shit and sick all the time. Yeah.
I do like it. And so it gives me the chance to be able to, like, anytime I'm not doing Queen stuff or whatever, I plan on doing GLU. And so touring, I have a new single coming out this week, EP on the way, album on the way, you know, so I have dreams, boys.
Nice. Do any of those dreams turn into nightmares for you to come to the UK at any point with it?
Dude, I was just there, man. And yeah, I have plans. I'll be there shortly.
Nice.
My flight's in, yeah.
In fact, I gotta go right now, boys.
Yeah, but I have lots of plans. I want to do everything, honestly. I want to world domination.
Nice.
No, but just do as much as I can because it makes me happy. Again, like getting in the car by myself and going to play shows by myself. I'm having the best time doing it. So until it gets old, I'm going to continue. Nice.
Well, dude, thank you so much for taking the time and just telling these stories and giving insight into everything. We've really enjoyed it. It's just been a pleasure to talk. And I'm sorry for, on behalf of every other journalist in the world, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the pleasure is all yours.
Yeah, just yours.
No, but I had a great time. You guys are awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for doing this. Weirdest start to a podcast we've ever done. But yes, I've had a fucking excellent time and it's been one of my favorite ones I've done. So thank you very much for this. Congratulations on all your success so far. Thank you for all of the music. And hopefully one day, maybe we could do one of these in the flesh. That would be fucking fantastic.
Would love to. Yeah, great.
Tidy. Lovely. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome,
Cheers. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
You're listening to Sappenin Podcast!
Yes. Woo! Yes, that was Micheal Shuman, a.k.a. Mikey Shoes. Question I forgot to ask him, I'll ask him next time, is being given the nickname Mikey Shoes, because your name's Mikey Shuman, has that led him towards or away from being a shoe fanatic?
That is a very good point, and we should definitely get him back on to ask that.
There's people listening to this now, right? Queens of Stone Age fans who are like, can't believe you didn't ask him about this and this and this. And there's me wondering if his nickname has ever affected his shoe buying. We're not real, man. We're not fucking real. But yes, thank you very much to Mikey for giving us his fucking time, the chat. We went to do one the day before, but he was unwell. I thought he'd checked it out and thought, fuck us. But then he turned up the next day and he was fucking super cool. We had a great laugh, as you've just heard. So thank you again to Mikey for everything.
Yes, well, we were actually originally supposed to do a little chat with him at Download Festival last summer. But obviously, headlining the whole bloody festival schedule can be a little bit tight. So it ended up didn't happening. But it's happened now. And we had a really good laugh. And just some of the stories he told there were absolutely hilarious. Some of them were so insightful. Some of them were just a great time. It's one of these guests that I think people would not necessarily expect us to talk to. Again, Queens being one of the coolest bands to ever exist. But I love that we get to prove people wrong and get to just shatter any expectations of who you ever expect to be on this podcast. Of course, GLU have a new single out right now called Boogeyman. There's going to be loads of different songs released throughout the year, tour dates scheduled as well. Queens of Stone Age are going to be back in the UK playing 2 huge summer outdoor shows in Sheffield. So go and check out all the dates and details on their websites. Sheffield, of all places.
The home of the Queens of the Stone Age.
Oh.
And Sean Bean, I don't know. Sean Bean and Queens of the Stone Age together at last.
Yes, the collaboration everyone's been asking for. If you want to keep up to date with anything going on with us in our lives or this podcast or see if we get mad offers to do mad live things at some festivals maybe across the summer.
I doubt it. I don't think so, man.
Go and check out @Sappenin Pod on Instagram. Give us a follow. Screenshot this, put it in your story, tag us so we can spread the love. We know you're listening. We know what you like. You know what we don't like. And if you want some behind the scenes look at us even more so, or you want extra laughs, giggles, videos, bonus clips, and a whole community of people who will talk you.
Giggles? What? Like they're on it? What? Like what? Like some sort of jokey make-a-wish. What do you mean last gig? What? Yes, check out our Patreon anyway. Patreon.com/Sappenin. As always, I'm going to shout out the top tiered members. We love all the members of our Patreon. If you've ever thought about joining it, come on, man. If you have joined it before, thank you very much. We appreciate you. But I've got to give a special shout out to the following. Thank you very much. Kylie Wheeler, Janelle Castan, Paul Hirschfield, Tony Michael, Scarlett Charlton, Mitch Perry, Dilly Grimwood, Nathan Croshaw, Johanna, Molly Molloy, and James Bowerbank, Jonathan Gutierrez, Kat Bess and Chris Howard, Amy Louise, Amy Hogg, Jerry Robinson, Murray Grimwood, Scott Jones, Amy Dawson, Mayumi, Stuart McNaught, Ellen Southfield, Jennifer Dean, John and Emma, Caroline Robinson, Jenny Munster, Louis Cook, Carl Pendlebury, James McNaught, Jason Heredia, Valet Bung, Martina McManus, Span. Thank you very much. Thomas O'Neill, National Women's Day of Rock, Nothing Minor, play the Green Rooms tomorrow, 8th of March. I actually had a message off Ollie Amesbury, who that is, saying he can't change his name. So now he's forever promoting a gig that's happened. So congratulations, Al. Thank you very much. Dan Peregrine, Khalila Keane, Emily Perry, Adam King of the Goss Parslow, Lambda Lee Martin, Fraser Cummins, Laura Russell, Josh, my missus, found out I replaced her bed with a trampoline, she hit the roof. It's the same joke as last week. Connor Lewins, and last but no means least, Kyle King of the Slots Smith. Well done to all of those people. Thank you very well done. Well done, guys. That's the fucking most patronising thing I've ever said in my life. Thank you. That's what I meant. Thank you to everyone who's involved with the Patreon. As always, thank you again to Michael Shuman for giving us his time and not giving up on us and having a fucking laugh with us, even though we had the most awkward and weird start to a podcast we've ever probably done.
Yeah, but it makes it more unique.
It was great, man.
It was. Before we go, Sean will be on the stages of venues himself tonight. You're in Bridgewater.
Yes, Bridgewater, March 28th. Supporting our friends in Fangs Out. Come to Cobblestones. It's going to be a right laugh. And then April the 2nd, the Blackout are supporting You Me at 6 at Brixton Academy. That is sold out. But I cannot wait for that. And then this summer, we do Leeds Millennium Square in July with Funeral for a Friend, and then Cardiff Castle in July with Funeral for a Friend, and then the Blackout play their only headline show at Chepstow Castle, August the... Anyway, check out theblackoutband.com for tickets to all of those gigs apart from the Yumi 6 one because it's sold out. Sorry.
So I'm laughing. It's quite sad, actually.
That's mean, actually.
It's mean and sad. I'm sorry, everyone.
What a prick. What a cunt.
Send hate to me at mhrichards_ on Instagram.
Yeah, please do.
Next time I upload a selfie, comment something.
Just say something about Ronnie Radke.
Yeah,
say something about Ronnie Radke and then you'll get it. It'll come to you.
Yeah, that's true.
From him.
From the Minions. The Minions. Don't you pick on our Ronnie's done nothing wrong.
Anyway, I like him. I don't. I mean, I've never met him. Anyway, stop before everyone else. Sappenin!
Sappenin!
I'm worried now.
You're listening to Sappenin Podcast with Sean Smith and Morgan Richards. Thank you very much for downloading this podcast or streaming it, or I don't know what else you do with podcasts. Thank you very much.